Welcome to AUP Policy Project by Julian King. So what is an AUP? An acceptable use policy. An acceptable use policy is an agreement between two or more parties to a computer network company expressing in writing their intent to adhere to certain standards of behavior. This allows companies, schools, and other hosts to clearly state the expectations for staff and anyone else using the internet or devices. So speaking of my school's AUP policy, there's a major difference between staff policy and students policy. Staff, they're required to do multiple online trainings that cover sexual harassment online, threat and violence online, email security. There are a number of trainings that cover all the things accepted throughout the county. It's focused on teacher accountability. Teachers are required and asked to finish all of these trainings. There are clear consequences for if you violate the policy, where it could be loss of technology, termination of your job, or persecution, depending on how serious the infraction is. And I feel that's created to protect the county. It's created to put the pressure on teachers and say, hey, if you don't do what we ask and follow the trainings, it's not on us, it is on you. Now, the students' AUP policy is a hard copy signed by students and parents. It promotes student and parent accountability. Parents need to be just as accountable for student use as the students are and teachers. There are unclear consequences. It states that students can lose technology, but it doesn't state how long. It doesn't state to what extent. And I feel it's created to protect the school. Throughout that AUP, it states that the school can only do so much work while the child is in school. Once the child leaves school, it is now on the parent's responsibility to make sure that the student is using the technology for the appropriate use. So how do we communicate this policy to students, parents, and teachers? First, presentations led by technology staff for parents and students during the first week of school to inform parents and students the appropriate use and inappropriate use and why it is so important to the county and so important everywhere that students follow the policy. PowerPoint presentations for all staff before students arrive. That week that teachers come in before students arrive, they should be doing a presentation going through the policy and going through things that are appropriate for teachers and not appropriate for teachers. Reiterate the policy in individual classrooms. Before your students use technology, you need to revisit and reiterate this policy so it's etched in students' minds. And run through specific situations of appropriate use and inappropriate use. I feel as if a lot of people are unclear on the policy. And being unclear, you can clarify some of these misconceptions by going through specific situations, as, for example, Pandora, whether that's appropriate or inappropriate. Shopping using your staff computer, is that appropriate or inappropriate? These are things that if you go through specifically, it can clarify a lot of misconceptions amongst staff. How do teachers ensure the policy is being followed? Before use of any technology, always revisit the policy. Make it as clear and concise as possible. Make it short and sweet for your students. That way they can remember it and have no reason why they should violate it. When students are using technology, actively move around the room. When teachers are stationary, that's when a lot of problems happen with the technology and the students' use of it. So make sure you're constantly moving around the room, looking at students' computers, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. Assign students certain computers so you know which student the activity on the computer belongs to. This will help keep the students accountable. If certain students only use certain computers, when something happens to that computer, whether it's good or bad, you know who's accountable. These students use this computer, so these students are the ones that I need to talk to about what's going on with it. And wonderful tips for teachers, because teachers love tips. Be vigilant and active when technology is in use. Do not hesitate to enforce the policy. If a child breaks the policy, do not hesitate. They take kindness for weakness. Demonstrate to students the appropriate use and inappropriate use. This applies to online platforms, social media, and any other sites they will be using. Make sure students keep themselves safe when they go online. That's the biggest thing about technology. Make sure the kids are safe. Always ensure safety. Emphasize the idea of keeping personal information off the computer. We emphasize to our students at our school, do not use your real name. Do not put your personal address in there. This is online. The internet is very vast, and the internet is people looking for information such as that. So make sure you keep yourself in a safe position as possible and do not put any of your personal information on there. Explain to students cyberbullying and harassment, how these actions will not be tolerated at any point. Cyberbullying and harassment is the biggest occurrence for secondary schools, middle and high school. So we need to explain to our students what that actually means, what what that means in content of cell phones, internet, Chromebooks, all of that, so they know that it is not tolerated and it can hurt. It can hurt way more than it helps. It's definitely hurtful, and we do not tolerate that at any point in any class or any school. And I know all these things seem negative, but the whole point of implementing technology is to have fun and explore new resources. So, as serious as all these conversations get, the overall goal of technology and implementing technology in the school is for students to have fun and for teachers to be able to expand the horizon of these students. So, even though all of this is very serious and all of this is things that need to be adhered to, the overall goal for all this safety is for our students to have fun and for us teachers to kind of take our teachers to another horizon and for students to see education outside of the broad box that they've been placed in for so long. These are my references. Once again, thank you. This is my Acceptable Use Policy Project by Julian King. Have a wonderful day.